I am Mrs. Martell, the first grade teacher at Da Vinci Tree Academy. This is the third installment of Da Vinci Tree's 5-part miniseries, 2020 Returning to School. In this episode, we go into detail on everything Da Vinci Tree is doing for both online and in-person learning. Our preparations have been extensive, so this video will be longer than 7 minutes. If you are not familiar with Da Vinci Tree Academy, please understand that everything you see in this video is authentic. This isn't a gag or a joke. We are a real school in Tucson, Arizona. Let's start off with our signature features of Da Vinci Tree's in-person learning, our partitions.
When discussing transmission risks for COVID-19, there are many aspects to consider. Until we have a vaccine, reach a level of herd immunity, or at the very least, significantly diminish the rate of community spread in conjunction with better testing and contact tracing, it isn't possible to say that any plan a school could implement could get rid of all of the risks. Even so, I've been truly amazed by how the team at Da Vinci Tree is able to take new scientific information as it is being discovered and incorporate it into their plans. Their maintenance crew is especially impressive. When it was determined that the best solution wasn't something you could buy, they decided to take it upon themselves to custom build each student cubicle. This was after they'd been working for 6 weeks continuously on making different prototypes.
For the students that choose to learn with us in person, cubicles have been added to each classroom to ensure proper social distancing. Students will still be able to interact through the use of windows in the cubicles and play games like chess or checkers with our magnetic game pieces, like I have right here. The pieces will actually be able to stick onto the windows and the kids will be able to play with the person on the other side. In-person learning will also only account for half of our student population. The other half will be online to further aid in social distancing. Children will also only interact with kids in their own class to prevent cross-contamination.
Teachers and TAs have been instrumental in choosing how the cubicles will be arranged and what kinds of things we need the cubicles to do. They are especially important in the younger grades. When students are eating or taking a mask break, the walls of the cubicles will allow them to continue to be around their friends without being completely exposed. The cubicles protect the students from respiratory droplets that spread the virus, promote healthy airflow, and remind the younger children not to touch each other. Before in-person school begins, all the cubicles will be caulked to ensure a tight seal around the acrylic window panes. None of the windows here have been sealed as yet because we may be moving them, which could potentially break the seals.
Since a large number of students will be using distance learning, and since the in-person students are going to be following healthy best practices, we are working to make the in-person and online experience as close to the same as possible. Teachers will be teaching all students using technology. The iPad will be our whiteboard for all students this year. Teachers will be able to write on their iPad or draw on our iPad, teach a lesson that way, and the students will be able to see it just like the whiteboard in a normal classroom. So both online and in person, they're going to be able to see it. The teacher will be using their computer to broadcast the video feed to all students, whether they're in person or online. Students who are in person will be given headphones so they can hear the teacher clearly without having to rely on the speakers of the iPad. This also is beneficial as if a student is needing help from the TA for a technical issue or a question, they're not bothering their neighbor. They can have that discussion without a student needing to hear over them.
In addition to using wipes or an alcohol-based cleaner that we rub on a cloth and then use to disinfect, we have also gotten a little more creative. Both of our buildings have a UVC sterilizing oven installed. Any devices that we find or have turned into us for servicing are first disinfected in the UVC oven. After the device is serviced and before it is given back to the family, the device is again disinfected a second time. With these best practices, we are hopeful that the touchscreens used for school will not be spreading the virus.
So basic hygiene is obviously a huge concern, especially for small children. Every K-5 classroom at Da Vinci Tree already has at least 2 sinks for hand washing, and some classrooms have as many as 4. Each classroom's sinks are all motion activated, and this helps to prevent spreading the virus on those high-touch surface handles. The middle school has 3 hand-washing sinks for only 2 classrooms, so they're also not far behind. Every classroom has its own bathroom. This further helps to isolate students in their small groups and prevents them from any outside interaction between classes.
In addition to having classroom hand washing sinks, we also have installed in each classroom in the entryway a hand sanitizing station so that it's a motion one and it has 80% alcohol and then glycerin mixture so your hands won't get dried out. It's also a product that meets the World Health Organization. As you probably noticed, the pandemic caused a shortage of many cleaning sanitizing products. So Mr. Roll has purchased 110 gallons of it to make sure we aren't going to run out this year. In order to safely store the hand sanitizer, 2 large metal fireproof cabinets have also been purchased, one for the Curie building and one for the Carver building, so that way we can keep it safely and it won't evaporate and all that good stuff. All right, thank you.
We decided a long time ago that our students would be required to wear a face mask or a shield. Most of our families have informed us that they will be providing a face mask or a shield for their students. However, we do know that students will lose them throughout the day or possibly forget them before they come in. For this, one of our volunteers, Jody Roll, has sewn us some very colorful masks that we will provide your student. We will also be providing more. When a student leaves for the day, if they have chosen to use one of our masks, they will deposit their used mask in a receptacle by the pickup area. DaVinci Tree has also installed a laundry facility in our Carver building, which is our main building, and we will be washing and drying the mask every night.
Like the students, the staff will be wearing some sort of protective equipment. This equipment will range from these really interesting powered air purifying respirators, they're called PAPRs for short, that the school has already purchased. And also, teachers that don't want to use that can use masks and face shields. Similar to the way our families get to choose either online, in person, or a combination, all staff members were given the choice of these purifying systems, or if they want to use the face shields and the mask. These PAPRs are medical grade. They're being used in hospitals, which means medical grade. They're also very neat because they have the latest technologies built into them that make them lighter, cooler, and they have some interesting features on top of conveniences for the wearer. Staff members choosing not to wear these, again, can wear a face mask, face shield. I personally want to use both. While we know that we are going to be uncomfortable as long as the virus is around, and we are getting used to it here, by the way, we're hoping that each staff member and student can find a form of preventive protection that is right for them. Thank you.
Communication is very important for our distance learners. That's why here at DaVinci Tree Academy, we've done an entire overhaul of our phone systems. Unfortunately, you may not have seen them yet because we're still fine-tuning the software to get these phones to work properly. But they're more akin to what you would find at a tech company rather than a school. These phones have internal extensions and public direct numbers. What these public direct numbers allow us to do is give you guys a number to call that will allow you to skip straight past the main office and go straight to the classroom that you need to contact for the teacher or TA. These phones can also allow our teachers and TAs to hold conference calls, juggle calls on hold, and have the phone forward your call straight to their personal cell in case of another lockdown so that we can still quickly have access to your teachers for you. Each phone also has a customized voicemail, and when you leave a voicemail, not only will it be saved on the phone, but it will be saved in an audio file, which will be sent to the teacher and TA in an email so that they can quickly and reasonably respond to your student that needs help.
Another thing that the school is doing to promote airflow and increased safety is to provide an alternate setting or classroom environment outdoors. That's right. Every class will have an alternate location outside with a whiteboard and Wi-Fi connection. Guidance from CDC tells us that hosting classes outside is actually much safer than teaching in an enclosed space. So we are looking forward to the weather cooling down so that we can utilize this outdoor environment. The school even made sure to add Wi-Fi towers outside near the Curie building. That means that any student, either sitting on a bench or under a tree, can receive full signal strength.
Airflow and treatment is something we have been extremely concerned about for our students and staff. Peer-reviewed studies are showing that students in summer school programs have been spreading the virus in an airborne fashion. In Florida, this has made many children sick. Fortunately, every classroom at Da Vinci Tree Academy is already equipped with a new HVAC system that is unique to that classroom. No two classrooms share the same HVAC, and therefore, no two classrooms share the same air. No HVAC system is older than 3 years old. All HVAC systems have what are called air economizer. These air economizers gauge the quality of the outside air and pull that air into the building, improving air quality. A paper published by the University of North Texas shows that these systems not only reduce pollutants in the air, but also reduce the number of days that people inside the building are out sick. To combat the possibility of an airborne virus infecting our students and staff, administration has purchased more than 5 air purification systems for every classroom. No single model of air purifier had the inventory to meet our needs, so Da Vinci Tree has been forced to purchase multiple models. No matter the differences in model, each purification system is equipped with at least a HEPA 0.3 micron filter. The most important component that each of these systems comes with, however, is a UVC sterilizing light. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Columbia University, and Tulane University all recently released studies that demonstrated that the type of filtration systems Da Vinci Tree is using destroys aerosolized particles of the virus in less than a minute. We are also looking to install these filtration units at some of the junction points in our cubicles. Recently published research from the University of Minnesota shows that aerosolized particles of the virus coming from a person who is talking are greatly diminished when some kind of ventilation is nearby. This information is valuable to us because it helps us place the air systems in the parts of the room for them to maximize impact.
Thank you for watching. This is the end of our third video. In our next video, we are going to be going over all of the different procedures that are going to keep our kids safe when they're on campus physically. We are going to be reviewing what a normal day looks like, everything from drop-off to pick-up. So please look forward to that. In our final video, video number 5, we're going to be going over what distance learning is looking like this year, some of the different programs, and just the basic features of what our curriculum has in store for all of our students this year. Now, if you're one of our friends and neighbors from other schools, we weren't able to include any of our tips and tricks in this video for the sake of time. Both the time for our employees who are trying to set up their classrooms and finalize their curriculums, but also because we didn't want this video to be an hour long. Frankly, each one of our classrooms are costing the school somewhere in the ballpark of $15,000 to $20,000 or more in terms of our payroll hours, the materials, and contracted services that we are having to use. Now, if you are happening to watch this and you're a teacher or an administrator and you would like to provide protection for your in-person students, but you don't have those kinds of funds to spend, I don't want you to be worried. Da Vinci has your back. We have developed a plan that was reviewed by the CDC, which provides a similar level of protection for your in-person learners, but it only costs a few $100s per classroom. If you would like us to send you the basics for this plan, please send me an email at mroll@davincitree.academy. This plan was designed to be safe, affordable, and quick to implement for any school around the world, regardless of class size or scale. Again, we're not just concerned about our own school, but we also are concerned about your school too. Thank you again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.